Hey everyone, welcome to a Jaeger Show. This week we're going to be covering COVID-19 and its effects on the fashion industry all over the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, we have three experts here sitting with us, well versed in their field. So, today we're going to be learning a little bit about them and from them. So, Ryusuke, take it away.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about America and China. So recently, last week, China's stock market went on a boom as companies expect consumer spending to recover after the end of the pandemic. So major fashion brands are focusing on China to recover the lost revenue. And in America, however, the virus is still taking its toll. So major fashion shows and major department stores are shutting down in LA, New York, and other major cities.
All right. So that was great coverage on those areas. Cal, please give us your coverage on the European markets.
Yeah, so Europe is doing slightly better than the US in terms of its recovery from the pandemic. It is projected that consumer demand and the economies in general are going to be back on track by mid 2022. So it's going to take some time for these countries to recover, but we're already seeing some rising consumer demand. And we know that last week, Fashion Week, returned to Milan digitally, and London is planning to host it in September. So we are seeing some activity, and we're expecting that fashion companies are gonna start seeing revenues go up again in the near future.
All right, perfect. So thank you for your coverage on Europe. So Kyle's going to take it away here and he's going to go a bit more in depth in the overall market. So give us a little inside look, Kyle.
Yes, the fashion market's been hammered pretty bad by COVID. As about 80% of sales are done in store, the resulting shutdown of stores due to COVID, it really just tanked their overall profits. And apparel is down online as well. On Amazon, it's down about 40%. And this is obviously due to store closures, but also economic uncertainty as people aren't sure where their money's going to be coming from. And additionally, people just don't have as much need for a lot of these clothes. For example, formal wear, people aren't going out and really working. So those brands are having a lot of difficulty as people are just kind of sitting home in their sweats. So a lot of these companies are have a lot of debt that they haven't been able to pay off due to their lack of revenue. And there's been a slew of bankruptcies across the market. There's been about 12 major fashion brands that have entered bankruptcy. And these are big brands like Brooks Brothers, J. Crew, J.C. Penney, John Barbados, Neiman Marcus. They've all entered bankruptcy, Chapter 11 to be specific, which doesn't mean that these brands are gone. They're going to survive. And once COVID's over, they'll probably be able to return back. But for now, these companies are in a financially distressed position and are going to see some tough times in the coming months.
All right, that's definitely an interesting perspective right now in the current markets. So with all this information taken in mind, now we're going to take us to the Q&A section, where experts can provide a little bit more in-depth explanation on their ideas, what they can discuss, and hopefully teach the viewer right now more about the luxury brand market. So the first question is going to be, in terms of future trends for the fashion industry, where do you think it's headed?
Well, I think that the pandemic is taking its toll all across the world. And even though we're seeing signs that countries are going to recover in the near future, probably in the next 2 years, I think it's gonna be more of a prolonged recovery for the fashion industry because of these social distancing measures that are probably gonna last well after the pandemic ends. This is going to change consumer behaviors, and it's going to be very important for the industry to adapt well to these changing behaviors so that companies can start operating again under normal circumstances like what we were used to seeing before the pandemic.
All right. Ryusuke, any thoughts?
For me, I believe that the fashion industry should be able to do well if they prioritize the Asian region over Europe and the US, because in these countries, their economy has been rapidly growing. By 2030, China's economy is projected to be larger than the US, and this economy will overtake Japan. And these emerging markets feature a rapidly growing middle class whose appetite for luxury goods is quickly increasing every year. And And major European fashion brands such as Louis Vuitton and Chanel are seen as major social are seen as like a major are seen as a major status symbol for these people. And I think that's where we'll see fashion brands. That's how we'll see fashion brands recover from the coronavirus in the near future, but also how they will definitely expand their business over the next 10 years.
All right. So Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in the future we're going to see a trend in the fashion industry more toward casualization. It's been happening gradually as people are growing more accustomed to athleisure and more comfortable wear. And I think the COVID is just going to accelerate that as people are working from home. It's really blurred the line between the workplace and home. You show up to Zoom calls wearing sweatpants, something like that. And people just don't really need formal wear. And I think it's going to continue. I think a lot of athleisure brands are going to see a lot more success, while some of the more formal brands are probably going to have to adapt and potentially cut down a lot of their sales in the future. And I think another trend we're probably going to see is social distancing maintains. I think the number of stores for a lot of these companies is going to decrease. Even before COVID, we've been seeing a decline in the amount of department stores. Big brands going bankrupt like Sears and JCPenney now recently. I think that's a trend that we're going to see in the future as retail shifts more online.
All right. So with the information in mind, my final question is, what do you think luxury brand companies should focus on during this pandemic? Kyle, what are your thoughts?
I think luxury fashion companies are going to have to focus on their loyal consumers. Right now, with all the online selling and the lack of in-store purchases, it's been so much easier for consumers to shop between different brands. A lot of these brands have a lot of sales going on since they need to move inventory. So a lot of consumers have a lot of choice on a lot of low-price options. So in order to keep their consumer base, these companies are going to have to focus on their loyal consumers. And loyal consumers are very important, since about 10% of a brand's consumers generally result for about 60% of their revenue. So by giving certain discounts, maybe VIP options or early access to their products, I think that'll be a great way for them to maintain their base and survive through the pandemic.
All right, that's a very well thought out opinion. It's great information. Ryusuke, what do you think?
I guess in terms of adaptation, one thing that I believe companies can definitely focus on during this pandemic is restructuring the way that they brand themselves from a sustainability perspective. Nowadays, many young consumers care about how companies are contributing to sustainability efforts and often buy products and services from companies who are active in sustainability. An example would be Patagonia, which has been known as the paragon of environmental activism. They are known for having a green supply chain process and have been known to be deeply involved with grassroots activism from all over the world. Their products are priced at a premium because their ethical processes and consumers happily buy their products due to this knowledge. Luxury brands focusing on this could attract a larger consumer base by following in Patagonia's footsteps.
Hey, so after sitting down having a conversation with the experts, we understand that COVID-19 has adversely impacted the fashion industry along with the global economy. Now that the old ways to sustain luxury fashion is no longer a powerful tool, fashion companies need to adapt to this new economic climate by increasing their brand awareness online. Furthermore, they need to focus on strengthening their e-commerce technologies and take a look at their assets and debt management if they want to stay afloat during this pandemic. Restructuring and downsizing inventory while focusing on emerging trends may save the fashion industry from capsizing during this pandemic. At the end of the day, the industry will not disappear, but if they adapt properly, they will come out stronger.